What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Outside the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And we have a packed roster today, so we have Chris Abacon.
What's going on, everybody?
And Daniel Acevedo. Oh, I didn't hear you, Daniel.
How's it going?
There it is. What would I normally say here? I just drew a blank.
You did a recap of the previous day, right?
Monday and Tuesday.
There it is. Thank you. I have complete brain fog. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion. Thursdays, Ask a CISSP. Had a really good one with Shauna Weatherly from FedSupK. So she talked about how she helps small businesses kind of get their foot in the door for federal contracts. Very good interview, despite the technical issues. And then Fridays, everything else. So movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article comes from Forbes.com, and the contributors are Dor Eisner and the Forbes Technology Council. And the title of this one is Small Business Must Bolster Cybersecurity with Actionable AI. So this has actually come up with us in the past, right? Like when it came to not necessarily AI, but like small businesses and how they can suffer because they can't hire, they can't contract out to a company. It's going to charge so much money to take care of their cyber, their IT needs. But the point of what they're talking about in this article is that small businesses are going to have to step it up, right? Because AI is being used like by hackers, like hand over foot now. Like the preponderance of AI being used for ransomware or any type of cybersecurity attacks is going way, 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 way up, right? Like I want to say in the article, they reference it, and it was like 80 some odd % or something of the cases. I'm trying to find the number here. It was something crazy high. And I was like, what in the world? And it's believable, right? So these small businesses, they got to step up their game, right? So it being weaponized, AI being weaponized right now is a real thing. Everybody is going to experience this at some point, right? And when they say AI being weaponized, it's not like you're going to get it's not necessarily you're going to get a video of somebody that you think is a family member or a friend or anything like that. It's just a matter of AI is making it easier to do phishing emails, right? It's making it easier to do voice calling as someone that sounds like legit, right? Because you used to hear the robot voice like, I am so and so, press this number, blah blah blah. You don't get any of that anymore, right? Like they're making it sound very fluid right now with AI, man. The stuff that they're doing, and it's becoming easier to trick people. What they're saying is that these small businesses got to step up their game. And the thing is, it's cheaper to do so with AI, right? Like AI is not as cost intensive, I guess you could say, right? As technologies in the past have been, right? And again, if you're going to hire a company to take care of these needs for you, that's even more, right? You don't have to do that anymore. But it's just, I don't know, man. Like this is where we talk about AI. I sent it, Ryan. I sent it to you about the whole. They talk about the iPhone 16 coming out and how the AI may not be fully utilized. And I made a comment. I was like, look, I'm down to wait another year for the AI revolution to take over. You know what I mean? Because they're putting it everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't want people to think I'm the anti-AI guy, but like some of the stuff it's doing, it scares me a little bit. It really does, right? And especially if they're going to make it readily accessible, like in your hand on your phone, right? Like Apple has a big share in the United States anyway, of the cell phone market. You know what I mean? I know they're expanded out to all those other places, all those other countries and whatnot, but a lot of the Android stuff for those other countries is really kind of making waves over there, right? They have the majority of the sets, right? And it could be different models even, right? Like it could be Google, it could be Samsung, it could be whoever, right? But yeah, we gotta fall victim to AI, and they talk about it in this article about, hey, you need to use it for defensive measures, not just the offensive measures that the criminals are using. You know what I mean? So we got to get on it, small businesses. You know what I mean? It's a lot cheaper. It's not as expensive as it used to be for you. But Daniel, what's your thoughts on this?
No, definitely. This article is really interesting to me for a lot of different reasons. Kind of the flow of the article talks about offensive and defensive capabilities of AI. We're going to have like I'm going to date myself even more here, as we've been doing last episode as well. We're going to have like a real spy versus spy situation with like the defensive and offensive capabilities of AI in the very near future, unfortunately. And understanding it, I know where you're coming from, Shannon, but the thing is, like, I have a younger kid, and I have a lot of like coworkers that have younger kids too. the more versed we are in understanding and utilizing it, the better we
Yeah.
can prepare our families to understand how to protect yourself, because it's going to be in every aspect. It pretty much is already. In fact, I this week broke through and used ChatGPT a lot, like that, like I have never done before for work and for my personal life. And I was like, I've been sleeping on it. I've been sleeping on AI. I've been sleeping on GPTs, and now I like went on a deep dive. Like I went on like a wormhole of like AI and GPTs this weekend. I love GPTs. This is my jam right now. It cut my work time by like 1/100th. Like I can't even like quantify it. It was a lot to do some like troubleshooting that would have took me about 6 times more longer than I would normally. But in this aspect, though, going to this, I can see how the small and medium businesses will have trouble with this, particularly in their pockets, right? Not to step on, what was the author's name? I don't want to throw her under the bus here a little bit. Dora
Eisen.
Don't come after me, Dora. I'm so sorry, but she mentions that the MSPs need to be the ones to step up their game to include AI in their cyber security capabilities on detection. But if you look at the top 4 MSPs in the United States right now, I wrote them down here somewhere, like IBM and Accenture are kind of like the most prevalent. You'll find IBM and Accenture in a lot of organizations. They heavily use AI right now, specifically in their detection tool set. Now, how much that costs? That's the real question. I don't know. And can the small to medium businesses cough up that coffer to really stay at the top level protection? Probably not. So this is where they either need to find a body, somebody where cybersecurity and AI is kind of merging right now. Either get people entry level that have a lot of interest in it, or come up with some creative solutions to better protect their businesses. But it's here, it's not going anywhere, and you got to be really like adaptive as a small and medium business on how we understand the threat and then confront it. It's not like we can't just ignore it and hopefully it's going to go away. It's here to stay forever.
Oh yeah, it's staying.
Yeah, Chris. But Chris, what do you think? You think there's go ahead, Shannon.
Daniel, I know it's here, right? But like I said, push off the AI revolution, right? Like I know it's coming. It is here. Like let's just push it to where it's not like the actual revolution to where like we're gonna have androids coming through our front doors. Like, can we push it away a little bit? That's what I'm saying, right? Like I don't, that's all I'm saying. Like I know there's no going around it, right? Like when I was looking into it, even like because like Ryan was heavy on it. He was like, "Hey man, look, this is the new thing." You know what I mean? And I was looking into it. I was like, man, it's scarier and scarier. Like just the deeper you go. And yes, you're right. Like it can definitely help you in what you do, right? But like, so for me, I work for the Department of Defense, right? So they are definitely slow rolling it, right? Like even when there was a point where people jumped ahead, they were like, no. We got our own version when it comes to this type of stuff that we got to use. So I'm aware for sure.
Their slow adaptation kind of gets me nervous, not to go too off topic. And I would wish they'd be a little bit more forward thinking and lean into it harder. Because this is not kind of like blue teaming, red teaming, and purple teaming of the past. And kind of like that landscape. This is something that if you don't get a good hold of and how it can integrate into your organization and your network, you're going to be at a loss. In fact, to throw it to Chris real quick, I asked ChatGPT to give me a talking point for this article, like a humoristic one. And it came up with this. And I said, tie it into like social media in 2024. And it said, hackers now have their own SaaS, but it's an AAS, attack as a service. It's like Netflix for criminals, just without the chill. I was like, oh man, ChatGPT brought the heat. That's
cool. First of all, ChatGPT learned that from some really smart writer, right? So that's
probably
really good. I wonder where I'm calling ChatGPT a he or she. I wonder where he learned that from. But kind of get to you guys' point, right? I'm quoting somebody, but I can't remember who, but he or she said, jobs, you're not going to lose your job through AI. You're going to lose your job to a person that knows how to use AI, right? And that's kind of where this comes to, right? And I know Janet was alluding to the fact that DoD is very slow rolling on AI, but hey, I don't work for DoD, but there are definite integrations with AI, at least from the day-to-day work perspective, that make lives easier. Like what Daniel was saying, hey, look, any developer can, that doesn't work for DoD can say, hey, can you scrub this code really quick, right? On Copilot, right? Copilot can be integrated into, the latest iterations at the time of this recording. They've got Copilot integrated with Word, Excel, right? And really anything that Microsoft touches because it's within their own ecosystem, right? And I think the DoD, kind of not to go off topic here, but the DoD's slow rolling this this deployment just so they can understand where the perimeter and boundaries and scope of what AI touches, right? Because when you're talking higher levels of classification, there's more stringent requirements when it comes to what an AI can touch. So it's really just the accountability of it, and that I think that's where they're finding these pain points. They're like, hey, we want to use AI, right? But hey, we just gave AI access to this file. What else is it going to do? This is a TS file. How do we know it's not going to, push that file from a integrity perspective to something else? They don't know that yet, and I think that's where the pain points are with AI. But kind of coming into this, right, with this specific article, MSPs, right? MSPs, you've got extended detection response, you've got pretty much outsourced IT, right? And really, the point of this article is to really highlight that there are AI-focused MSPs out there that utilize, SIM and then SOAR solutions, right? So SOAR being the automated responses for logs and things like that, to where they can they detect something on the network, and then a response can be generated from that SOAR based on the AI or the script or whatever it might be. But I think my point is that I think this article specifically is kind of telling small businesses, hey, it's okay to leverage AI when it comes to this, because it's they're the ones that can detect. You don't have eyes on 24 hours, right? Even a SOC analyst or somebody on a watch floor or something, that person can't watch every line of processing code, right? AI can help detect, hey, there's something going on here, and help bring that to the attention of that specific analyst. So I think this is kind of where this article is going. I know it's been used in offensive where, hey, they can, like ass, right? The attack of the surface. I mean, that's genius stuff, right? But at the same time, we can use that defensively to help detect and respond to these specific incidents. And MSPs, some are cheaper, some are more expensive, right? You've got different levels, like Daniel was saying. You got the huge IBMs, but then you've got local companies too, right? That leverage best practices and solutions. Small businesses, reach out to your local MSP companies that are vetted, that they have experience, right? But there are options out there. You don't have to go with the big brand name. There are. I promise you, if you're within the metro area, there's a few MSP companies out there that are working for small businesses, and they already know what they need to do to get a competitive advantage. They're utilizing AI.
Or right? It could even be not even an MSP. It could be a small SMB of a cybersecurity company that uses AI as well.
Exactly. Right.
Ram Cyber, maybe? Ram Cyber, maybe?
Absolutely. But leverage your small business network, right? Leverage that network. But those are my thoughts. Ryan, pushing it back to you.
I'm going to interject really quick, though, and not to scare Shannon more, because I feel like he's not to throw you on the bus, the grandpa in the closet that's afraid of the cell phone right now. But where this is going to be going, and why I call it spy versus spies, Chris touched on it a little bit. In not the too near future, it's going to be offensive. AI is going to try to circumvent the existing protections that are in place and find ways into the network. And then the defensive AI is going to, detect that behavior that's not normal and be able to automatically stop or drop the traffic. And it's going to be a cat and mouse game back and forth. The thing is, if you don't have the defensive AI cybersecurity portion in your network or in your business, then you're going to be at a loss, because the offensive one is just going to be able to go straight through your defenses because they're not up to where the technology is going. Just like we've seen it with hardware and software solutions, firewalls, proxies, matting, DMZ, layer defense, the zero trust, all these things had their places and their reasons. Now it's going to be all AI focused and driven. Go ahead, Jen, my bad.
No, you're good. No, 100%. Like, yes, I am the fuddy duddy in the group. I will say this, right? Like, I am the oldest one here, right? And I remember when I used to walk 15 miles to school, right? Like Grandpa Pickles, right? Like, but no, and again, like I do know it is out there. I do realize the need for it, right? And I realize the DoD's their hesitancy, because it's like you were saying, Chris, like, how do you know this information that we've allowed you to access, that's TS or program or whatever, is not going to get out there? Because it is learning. AI is learning from itself, right? So like, how do you know it's not just somebody sitting at home? It's going to be like, when it gives that answer, like what you were looking for, Daniel, like, it's not going to be like, oh yes, it is like this, and you use AAS, just like they're doing at, Cheyenne Mountain, for their TS program where they do this. Like, all of a sudden that information is out there. How are you compartmentalizing? But when it comes to like us being here, so like it's the reason, I don't say it's the reason, but it's one of the reasons that I'm not on social media like that either, right? Like, I'm not putting my stuff out there for people. Like, anyone who knows me or anyone that I know, I can reach out to you and get a hold of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, to put it out there, I shouldn't say I have no social media, right? Like, I have a Facebook, right? Like, we communicate through Messenger, right?
You have a small footprint.
I have a small footprint, but like, even my Facebook account is disabled. Like, if you look at me, I 100% look like a bot. I have no friends, no picture, like none of that stuff is up there on my Facebook, and the account is disabled, right? But I just use Messenger, and it's just to reach out to certain people. You know what I mean? But I realize it's coming. Like, I do, fellas. I just want to hold it off a little bit longer, right? And I realize the help that it can be for everybody, and not just me, right? And what I do in my everyday life. But when it comes to companies and DoD and things of that nature, but you're right, the spy versus spy thing, that was pretty apt, right? Like, I just started thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. But no, it is here already. Like, I get it. I understand it. I'd rather let myself and my children get a few more years in before we're, working for the AI overlords, in whatever form they may take. Go ahead.
It's too late, Shannon.
It's a wrap.
It's too late. Yeah. So definitely, if you would like to advertise pre-roll, mid-roll, end-roll on the podcast with all of this great experience, right? Like, you're listening to over 80 years of IT and cybersecurity experience right now. Hit me up, all right, at all the websites that I'm going to mention at the end. But to you guys' point, I think you pretty much covered a large majority of it, which I do appreciate. But I've 2 or 3 things. So, thing number 1. Super sad that you shared that article with me, Shannon. Like, I was really looking forward to the 16, and it looks as though it'll be a half measure, and I can't pivot from the 16 to the 17. So, do I hold on to my 12 until the 17 drops?
Yeah.
Ugh, it's yuck.
It's going to burst into flames. It's going to stop working like 2 weeks.
Because I'm already in the 18 beta, and it's struggling.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work out, but I digress. Thing number 2, the quote, like, it wasn't the one that you were looking for, Chris, but I did find one that was similar that didn't make the rounds of social media was, I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing, not for AI to do my art and writing so I can do my laundry and dishes. That came from Joanna, I can't pronounce her last name. But it did make the Twitter rounds. It's very on point. That's exactly what's happening. Like, I utilize it for exactly that, so I can then have more free time to do whatever I need to do, whether it be RAM, cyber, or my laundry.
There you go.
And then the last point was, I'm so kid friendly right now. I didn't read Attack as a Service as you guys did. I read it as AAS. But it makes more sense. But no, I think everything you guys said was on point. It really is going to be a matter of spy versus spy. Like, for the heuristics and things of that nature, you're going to have to leverage AI. And it's really going to come down to, hopefully, smaller companies can utilize, like, maybe cloud, and then it'll be built into the cloud. So that way they can kind of get off prem and get off of not patching their stuff, right? Because at the end of the day, I think that aside from it spotting, like, hey, this feels like not right network traffic wise, things of that nature, right, net flow wise, I think it'll be a matter of being able to say, hey, a new attack vector has appeared. It has been peer reviewed, and now I can help you implement the patch or the fix or the mitigation measure in real time. I think that'll be the best part of it, because right now your configuration management person, right, whether it be cyber IT or whatever, to be plugged into forms and things of that nature to see when the new thing happens, and then to help you to mitigate it. Like, what if you had an AI assistant helping that person to say, hey, this just popped up, and we can do these things to mitigate it. I think that would be the best utilization of it in the near future. But I don't know how close we are to that. I think that could be done sometime like soon. But then how can that be leveraged against you as well? Like you pull a patch or whatever because it's someone nefarious has somehow worked it backwards, where it's like I can do a supply chain attack if I tell you that this is a problem, but really I'm opening up a new attack vector. So how does that vet it to then circumvent that?
So I don't know. To Daniel's point, right? Like offensive and the defensive when it comes to this, right? Like that is age old, right? It's how it's always been for everything, right? Like as soon as someone figures something out, the defense is okay, studying that and figuring out how to do it better, right? But my concern more so is that we're getting to these points sooner, right? Like it's not taking years or several months to get to the point where it's like, okay, we can fight it. Like it is happening within days sometimes, right? Where AI will do something and then you can read another article like 2 days later. Hey, here's how AI, combated that. You know what I mean? Like we're just getting there so much sooner. Like it's crazy. And this is what we want, right? Like we want the things to come to us fast when it comes to solutions. We don't want to wait months at a time anymore, right? Technology is just advancing so fast. Like we've brought it up before when it comes to quantum computing, even, right? Like we're going to get there sooner than I think we're going to get there sooner than what a lot of these so-called professionals. Okay, you guys are really good professionals. I ain't gonna go against you, but they're like, oh, it's this far away. No, it is way sooner than what you think it is. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have that breakthrough way sooner than the 5 or 10 years that you think it may be. You know what I mean?
Right. So, I mean, this is what convergence looks like, right? We've been talking about this for decades. Like things will happen almost instantaneous. It'll feel like magic because things will be moving that fast to us. But I mean, for better or for worse, I mean, we're almost there. I'd say a decade from now, maybe 3 max, right? Like we'll be in our 60s and 70s talking about like I don't understand how anything works, but hey, I'm down for it. Like give me the set. Just get to 16. Let's just jump straight to the 17. You've done weirder things, right? But definitely hit us up at all the websites that go by our name, the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or ask a CISSP. Hit me up personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on pretty much all the social media platforms. The exact opposite of Shannon. And where can we find you, Chris?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Chris Abacon, last name spelled A Bacon.
And how about you, Daniel?
Under my name, Daniel Acevedo, in LinkedIn.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.